Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya-kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Ishvaro Gururātmeti Murti Veda Vibhagine Vyoma-vat-vyapta-dehāya Dakshināmurtaye namaha. Gukārasvandakāro vai Gukārasvannivartakaha Andhakāra-nirodhitvad Gururitya-vidhiyate. Sadāshiva-samārambhām Shankarācārya-madhyamām Asmadācārya-paryantāṃ Vande Guru Paramparam. The text that we have chosen for this retreat is Katho, which it is quite likely that most of you have always studied, maybe more than once possible, because it is a text that is very often taught by the teachers. And it is possible that some of you may not have studied it. So what we have done for studying Katho is we have selected some passages or verses from the Upanishad, as we do in the evening classes of Gita. That will give us an opportunity to address the important topics and most relevant topics discussed by the Upanishad. Upanishad, as you know, is in the form of a dialogue between the teacher and the student. And very often we find that many things other than Brahma Vidya are also taught in the Upanishad. Depending upon the context, depending upon the nature of the student, when we make our own selection, we have the freedom to skip those passages and stick to the main topic which interests us. And that is what we have done in the Katho. Katho is one of the most well-known Upanishads. There are traditionally as many as 108 Upanishads. But right now we have more than maybe 300 Upanishads as they do the research in the Vedas, of which 10 are considered to be the major Upanishads. Because those 10 Upanishads were chosen by Adi Shankaracharya for writing his commentaries or bhashya. So therefore those are called major Upanishads. Not major necessarily in terms of its length or size. Not that even each Upanishad addresses different topics or the message is the same. As our Vijay said, Adhyatma Vidya. Vidya that is centered upon Atma, and therefore that is the main topic of all the Upanishads. As Lord Krishna in one of the verses says in the 15th chapter of Gita, Vedaihi anekaihi ahameva vedyaha. Lord Krishna says, Ahameva vedyaha. I am the only one to be known. Anekaihi vedaihi, through all the Vedas. And not only Vedas, even Vede, Bharate, Purane, whether you take Mahabharata, take Puranas, of all of them, the subject matter is only one. Sometimes it is called Atma, sometimes it will be called Brahman, Ishvara, different names will be there, but subject matter is one. That which concerns us the most. As we've been discussing in the evening classes, what concerns us the most is Satyam, or the reality of the life. And the reason why that is so is because Vedanta teaches that if you know the reality as it is, and fortunately the reality happens to your own self, meaning that if we know ourselves as we truly are, then there is total freedom from all sorrow, freedom from all sadness, unhappiness. And that also is accompanied with attainment of total happiness. Atyantika dukkha nivritti, cessation of sorrow once and for all. Nirtisha sukha avapti, attainment of unsurpassable happiness. Some people think that these are two different steps. The removal of sorrow is one step, and attainment of happiness is another step. Vedanta says no, because happiness does not have to be attained, it is an existing fact. What is meant by existing fact is that what is happiness. That what you are is happiness and what is happiness. Meaning that whatever it is a manifestation of happiness. That's what the Upanishad says. Ananda deva khal vimani bhutani jayante anandena jatani jivanti anandam prayanti abhisarveshanti. The Taittiriya Upanishad says that all these beings, meaning the whole universe, has emerged from Ananda. Ananda means boundless happiness. Nanda itself means happiness. To that a prefix I is added to make it boundless happiness. From boundless happiness, and Vedanta also points out that where the happiness is, there the love is. Meaning that happiness and love are not two different things. So we may say, out of infinite happiness, or out of infinite love, the whole universe has emerged. And what sustains the universe? It is happiness and love that sustains the universe. Without that, it would not be possible for anybody or anything to exist. That we exist and that we continue our existence is only because of that Ananda, happiness or love. And ultimately, everything merges back into Ananda. Just as The parts emerge from clay. They are sustained by clay. They merge back into clay when they are destroyed. What it means is that what there is clay. Even though we call it part, what there is clay because that's only substance. So Upanishad says from Ananda the universe has emerged. By Ananda it is sustained. And into Ananda it merges back. Means what? What is Ananda? What is boundless happiness? Puja Swami like, what is Ishvara? Make it even more simple, more understandable. What is happiness? Meaning that it is not something to be created, not something to be attained, because what is happiness, and what is includes me also, meaning that what I am is happiness, what you are is happiness, what anything else is happiness. I don't find that, Swami. I don't find happiness, when I come across in my interaction in the world, where is happiness? It seems more conflict and sorrow than happiness. So that we are not able to experience happiness most of the time, sometimes we do. So this question is asked by Panchadashikara, the author of a text called Panchadashi. Don't worry about these names and verses I quote, because you are not going to miss anything, even if you do not, because whatever I say will be translated anyway. So if there are some Sanskrit words or passages which are new to you, or which do not make sense to you, do not worry about it. All those things are quoted only for my facility. It's for my sake that I am quoting those Sanskrit verses more than for anybody else's sake. And therefore, do not get intimidated by any kind of Sanskrit verses or the words that I utter. Because even when you do not understand them, you are not going to miss anything because it will be translated. But what Vedanta says is, that when we say that, Panchadashikara raises this question. You say that Atma is Satchidananda. Sat means existence. Chit means consciousness. Ananda means happiness. That means I am Satchidananda, I am existence, I am awareness, I am happiness. That existence I am, that I exist, yes, that's a matter of my experience. That I am aware, that also is a matter of my experience. Then if Satchit Ananda is my nature, and just as I experience that I am and I experience that I am conscious, should it also not be my experience that I am Ananda? Why should, if happiness is my nature, why should I not have been experiencing it effortlessly? As effortlessly I experience the fact that I am and that I am conscious, should I not also be experiencing the fact that I am happy? What's the problem? So then Swami Vidyaranyaji, who is the author of Panchadashi, says that for us to experience happiness, we require a certain disposition of mind. This rajas and tamas. Tamas means dullness and rajas means impurity. The dullness or darkness and impurity in the mind is the inhibiting factor. That is what in fact deprives us of experience of happiness. There is nothing that inhibits the experience of Sat. Meaning that even Rajas and Tamas do not in any way obstruct the experience of existence, or Rajas and Tamas do not obstruct experience of awareness. But this Rajas and Tamas inhibit the experience of happiness. Therefore, for experiencing happiness, something has to be done, is that the mind should be made free from rajas and tamas. When mind is sattvic, you find that everything is happiness. Then every flower makes you happy, every butterfly makes you happy, every insect makes you happy. The human being may be a little difficult, but then our problem is always human beings. You don't have a problem with other beings, usually, unless the dogs are barking and things, then we may have a problem. Otherwise, you don't have any problem. The problem with human beings is that they always push our buttons. Other beings, this to the creation generally does not push any buttons. The human beings push buttons. Some Swamiji, she will keep on saying, talking until I get angry. And that is why we have difficulty with human beings. Unfortunately, the conclusion they draw about the life seem to be all based on our experiences with human beings. When we say there is all sorrow everywhere, there is conflict everywhere, there is violence everywhere, what is everywhere? Only human beings. Human beings occupy a minuscule place in the scheme of things. In terms of living beings, human beings is an extremely small minority. There are countless living beings. So when we make a general statement, all there is injustice, all there is violence, all these statements apply to human beings. They don't apply to other living beings. Meaning that in drawing conclusions about life, we do not necessarily take everything into account. We are so absorbed with just human beings that we think that's all that life is. So it is true that it is difficult to find happiness when I am interacting with other human beings. But then also, it is not that it is not happiness. If I do not experience happiness, it is not because it is not, it is because I have to grow to be able to experience that. So what is happiness? So Vedanta says that what do you need in that? Nothing. Just recognize what is, that's all. Recognize that what is happiness, what is harmony. Purnameva Vashishyata. What is Purnam? What is wholeness, completeness? Thus we have to learn how to see what is. This is the thing. It is there, but we do not seem to see it. So Vedanta teaches us how to see things. Atma var drashtamya. Atma is to be seen. I am Atma. But still, we have to learn how to look at ourselves, how to see ourselves, and similarly, how to see everything. There is a way in which we see, there is a way in which Upanishad teaches how to see. If you have that, then you find that what is Purnam, what is happiness. And that's why Upanishad emphasizes seeing means knowledge. Understand. Understand what is as it is. Thus Upanishad provides us the understanding of what is. And the Swamiji always point out that because of that, there is no reason to wait for any kind of an unusual experience. Because if the truth or happiness could be there only in their experience and not otherwise, it's not there now and then everything merges into something, then alone happiness becomes manifest. If that was the thing, then we need that. But every experience reveals, because no experience can be without devoid of truth, exists such ananda. And therefore, we just have to understand what is. And therefore, Upanishad provides that understanding. In that sense, all Upanishads do the same thing because only one topic is there, happiness or Purnatvam. And therefore, every Upanishad unfolds that nature. There were so many Upanishads because each one has a different methodology. We call it Prakriya, the method, approach. That a Upanishad approaches the same thing in a different way and thus gives us different insights into that. In that sense, one Upanishad is different from the other Upanishad. Not in terms of what it shows, but the way it shows, the way it approaches, and therefore it gives us different methods of contemplation, different methods of inquiry. So that is why so many Upanishads of them, Bhashyakara selected 10 because each Upanishad is unique in that sense. No two Upanishads are identical in terms of the way they show you the truth. What they show is the same, but each one of them provides a different methodology, a different approach. So why did we take up this topic? Our 10 major, because Katho Upanishad happens to be one of those 10. And of course Shankaracharya has written a Bhashya and a Tika, etc. Of other Upanishads also, perhaps this is one of the simpler Upanishads, simpler to understand. And another specialty of this Upanishad is that it elaborately describes the circumstances in which in which the dialogue between the teacher and student takes place. As it is, many Upanishads resort to what we call akhyayika or anecdote in order to convey the message. Because when it is conveyed in a story form, it becomes easier to understand. Here in this Upanishad, the akhyayika anecdote is elaborately described. In fact, this Upanishad has 6 sections. Each section is called a Valli. Valli means a creeper. There are 6 Vallis or 6 creepers. Here Valli means a section or chapter. In fact, there are 2 chapters, each has 3 Vallis, that way we have totally 6 sections. Valli means a creeper. And this creeper brings to mind a very famous creeper, which is called Kalpalata. Another name for creeper is Lata. And that word Lata brings to mind the famous Lata called Kalpalata. Apparently in the heaven, there is a creeper which is a wish-fulfilling creeper. Heaven has all kinds of amazing things. There is wish-fulfilling tree called Kalpa Vriksha. Wish-fulfilling cow called Kamadhanu. Wish-fulfilling creeper called Kalpalata. So whatever you wish, that creeper will satisfy. So each section of the Katho Upanishad is called a Valli or a creeper because it is like that wish-fulfilling creeper. Oh Swami, that's nice to know. I want to be a millionaire. So will this satisfy my desire? That wish-fulfilling creeper will satisfy the desires. But not the desire behind the desires, meaning that even after that creeper satisfying a given desire, we still will not become free from desire and the desire will arise. Again we will have to go to that creeper and the third desire will arise. Well, the creeper of the Upanishad is such that once it fulfills a desire will not arise. Meaning that it fulfills the desire behind all the desires. We may not know what it is that we are desiring really. But behind the countless desires that arise in our mind is one simple desire, in our Swamiji's word, is to become free from desire. The desire behind all the desires is to become free from desire. What do you mean become free from desire? Because the desire is a manifestation of a sense of inadequacy, incompleteness, inner dissatisfaction, inner discomfort. So desire behind all desires is to become free from that inner discomfort, sense of inadequacy. I want to become free once and for all from a sense of inadequacy, sense of limitation. I think that fulfilling a given desire will make me free ever, forever from inadequacy. That's what I think. That by becoming a millionaire, I won't need anything else. The millionaire is just an example. It's only that when I become, I realize that's not quite what I wanted. And that's the reason why one desire leads to another desire. Until the desire behind all desire is not fulfilled. That's what this Valli, the chapters of Katho Upanishad do that. What's the desire behind all desire? To become free from all incompleteness. How do you do that? By not achieving completeness, but by discovering that you are already completeness. Because completeness cannot be achieved. Whatever you achieve cannot be complete. What you achieve is always incomplete. So it is not that Upanishad helps us achieve completeness. Upanishad helps us discover that completeness is what I already am. And thus, for fulfilling the desire behind all desires, Upanishad reveals the true nature of ourselves. Because we have all these wrong notions about ourselves. Which all wrong notions, conclusions, opinions about ourselves are all products of ignorance of the self. And therefore, what needs to be removed is the self-ignorance. And the means of that is self-knowledge. Therefore, self-knowledge is a primary topic of the Upanishad, every Upanishad. In fact, Shankaracharya explains that word Upanishad itself means self-knowledge. But Upanishad is quite commonly used in the Vedas. And Upanishad means really knowledge. But Upanishad is used for upasana or meditations or realization of some devata, etc. So Upanishad also means that kind of knowledge. But when it comes to Upanishad, like Katho Upanishad, we restrict the meaning of the Upanishad to arrive at what this Upanishad actually does. So what Upanishad is explained this way. The word Upanishad is a word which has different constituents. Of that word shad actually is a verbal root sad, which has the prefixes upa and ni. So upa and ni are the two prefixes to which is added this verbal root sad. And this sad has three meanings: gati, visharanam, avasadhanam. Meaning that in the sense of motion, reaching somewhere, the sense of loosening something, the sense of destroying something. So Bhashyakara says, Rupa means something that is proximate. Ni means something that is firm. Upa, nisha. So this is knowledge. Upanishad means knowledge. But about what? About upa, which means proximate. So that which is proximate. The proximate. So proximate also is a relative word. So one thing is more proximate than the other. What is the proximate? So what is the limit of proximateness or is nothing but my own self, nothing more proximate than myself. So Upa ultimately amounts to what? The self. So if Upanishad is a knowledge, then by the prefix Upa is indicated that it is the knowledge of something which is most proximate, meaning the knowledge of the self. What kind of knowledge is revealed by the second prefix, that is ni? It's called Nishchitam Jnanam, a firm knowledge. What is firm knowledge? The knowledge which is free from all doubts and vagueness and errors. Because knowledge can be there, sometimes the clarity may not be there. Sometimes doubts may be there. Sometimes it may be erroneous knowledge also. So that second prefix ni reveals that is meant to show that the knowledge that Upanishad provides is free from vagueness, free from doubts, free from errors. It is Nishchitam Jnanam, firm or abiding knowledge. So this firm or abiding, clear knowledge about Upa or the self, what does it do? That is indicated by this Sat, which has three meanings. It leads us someplace, Gati. It loosens something and it destroys something. First, this knowledge loosens something. We are all very tight. A lot of stress on it, a lot of tension. A lot of tightness is there. So we are like tightly bound by something. Not bound by the ropes, but bound by our own complexes. That's what creates inner stress or inner tension, which complexes are all born of ignorance. So as we expose ourselves to the unfoldment of Upanishads, the center or the subject matter is self, and by revealing the true nature of the self, we realize that various conclusions that we have about ourselves, we recognize the falsehood of our own conclusions. I find that I think that I am so and so is simply taken for granted. I have never paid attention to whether or not the opinions or conclusions I am entertaining about myself, are they valid or not? I am a limited being. Who told you that? I am telling you, it's my experience. What is your experience? I am limited. It's like that person. I am restless. That's my experience. Who says you're restless? I'm telling you I'm restless. How do you say my mind is restless? Okay. So you are the witness of your restless mind. Similarly, as I'm limited, I'm inadequate, I'm helpless, I'm dependent, I'm no good. So this is what tightly binds me. All these conclusions about myself, because I always look down upon myself. I keep on bashing myself, keep on blaming myself. And that way, creating all this sorrow for myself. So why do I blame myself? I did it. I am responsible. I should have done that. I did not do it. I should not have done it. I did it. Sense of guilt. Somebody did this to me. Sense of hurt. So hurts and guilt. And then being controlled by the world. Helplessness, dependence. I'm not free to what do I want, what I want to. My boss dictates what I should do. I'm not free to say what I want to say. My spouse dictates what I should say, etc., etc. We feel dictated, controlled. Not only by the outside world, very often by my own mind which compels me. Mind says, do this. I am compelled to do so many things. So a lot of compulsions are there. This compulsions bind me. I don't like to be compelled. These days in politics also there is what is compulsion. Political compulsions. Why does the president make a decision like that? Or why does the senator vote like this? Political compulsion. What is the compulsion? His constituency. Is some vested interest. Something like that. But here, what is compulsion? We are made to do something that we do not want to do. And still we find ourselves having to do. It's having to do. I have to do something. And so much work. Running this household is from morning till so keeps you so busy. I wish I had more time. I want to do other things, but I can't do. So what does it take for me to feel that I am bound? This is called bondage, that I am not free to say what I want to say, to do what I want to do, to go where I want to go. All the time I have to always be careful. Don't say that, Swamiji. Don't do that, my child. No, that's not right. Good children, don't do this. From childhood, always restrictions. And all the time I am feeling restricted. This is called bondage. Vedanta says that all these sense of restriction or compulsion, whether I find the world compelling me to do or not to do something, or my own mind compelling me to do or not to do something, all these sense of helplessness, dependence, all of this is because of the wrong understanding you have about yourself. I'm helpless, Swamiji. How do you say? I experience I'm helpless. But you see, what is experienced is always, the experience is always different from what is experienced. Never, the self never becomes an object of experience like the way we experience in pots and pans. I am limited. I was born. I'm going to die. I'm getting old. Who says that? I'm telling you, I'm getting old. Something is getting old, but not what I think is getting old. Something was born, but not what I think was born. The body was born, I say I was born. Who told you that? That you were born. Have you seen your birth? You see, to see the birth, there must be a witness. Nobody can witness their own birth, can we? Because of witnessing birth, I was present before the birth. The doctor can witness my birth because he is there before my birth and he sees me being born. And so he can say that this child was born at a given time. For me to witness my birth, I should be there before the birth, is it not so? Can I be? And can I witness my death? Somebody can give me death certificate, my death certificate, because he is there after I die. I can't be there after I die. I can't witness my birth. I can't witness my death. I just take for granted that I was born. Says Shankaracharya, look at this Maya in Katho itself, it says. To look at this Maya means the influence of ignorance. That this fellow is being told every day, you are Brahman, you are Brahman, you are Brahman, and he doesn't take it. And without being told, he says, I am this fellow's son, and I am this fellow's grandson, and I am this father. Like that Mahatma used to tell us. That when one saint was giving discourses for 2 months, every morning and evening, on Vedanta, and Vedantins tell you only one thing, and that is you are limitless, you are this, that, you are happiness. That's all they say. You go to other places, they say you are miserable, you are no good, you do this and you do that. Vedanta doesn't say that. And so these people are sitting in the front row and I'm listening with all enthusiasm, and from their expression you can see that they really understand and are grasping. And that makes the speaker also happy when you find some people, are responding to you, paying attention, showing smile, appreciation. Here's a person sitting right in the front row, and every day you were seeing him so happy. Since last 2-3 days this teacher found, it's a little sad, unhappy. So what happened? So then he called him for an interview. He said, I want to see you. Since last 2-3 days you seem very sad. What's the matter? He said, Swami, you know what happened? 3 days ago, after the evening talk was over, I was leaving the hall. I was under the influence of your lecture, Swami. And I put on my shoes and I started walking, and somebody came from behind and catches hold of my neck and says, are you blind? I said, why? You are a thief. You look at the shoes that you are wearing? Then I realized, Swami, that by mistake I was just wearing somebody because they look similar. I had no intention. For such a somebody, he called me thief, he called me blind. I could not sleep for the whole night. Who is he tell me thief and blind? So for 3 days I can't sleep. I'm so unhappy, so sad. This Swami says for 2 months, I am telling you are Brahman, you are limitless. That has not touched your heart. And once that fellow said, you are so thief. That's what Shankaracharya said. Look at Maya. Look at ignorance. In spite of being told number of times that you are ever free, you are ever, that doesn't seem to appeal to him. But without being told, I'm so and so son, I'm unhappy, I'm limited, I'm helpless. Nobody's told him. He says. On what basis? No basis. Vedanta says that you just take it for granted. So each of this we call complex, that I'm limited, I'm inadequate, I'm this, and so this. Vedanta addresses each of these complexes. Doesn't say this is wrong. It makes us see ourselves how this is wrong. How did this complex arise in the first place? If I am not limited, why do I think I am limited? So Vedanta teaches, what's the reason why you think that you are born, you think that you are limited? It's thinking and not a reality about you. So as we listen to this teaching, as these notions start dropping off, that inner tension, becomes slowly and slowly loosened. So it loosens the bondage. Because Shithilikarana. And ultimately, the bondage completely gets destroyed. So these are the meanings of the root stat. Visharanam, Shithilikaranam, Avasaranam, mean destruction. Then what happens, Swami? Suppose all my notions are gone, all the bondage is gone, and I see myself as I am, what does it do to me? It says, Gati, it makes you reach something. Something what? It makes you reach Brahman, the Purnatvam, limitlessness, happiness. Not reaching, but you feel as though you reached. So long I thought I was away from my happiness and I got it. Meaning that helps you establish your own true nature. In that manner, the word Upanishad is specially explained as self-knowledge. Upanishad means knowledge. Meaning that even the Vedas also use the word Upanishad in a sense that is different from self-knowledge. But it is knowledge. But the way it is explained this way, it means self-knowledge. So, this text is called Upanishad because self-knowledge is the subject matter of Upanishad. And it is called Upanishad because then in the secondary manner, the text also is called Upanishad because the subject matter is self-knowledge. Like this is a book of history and geography. That's not history. But that which of the subject matter history, so you call it history book. So book also is called Upanishad. That's how the word Upanishad explains. It explains everything. It explains what Vedanta says sadhana and Anubandha Chatushtaya. You know Anubandha Chatushtaya. Chatushtaya means a group of four. Anubandha means that which binds, Bandha means bonding. And learning, understanding which it follows that it binds me with the text. It joins me with the text. Meaning that these four things we should know. Then only we are encouraged and motivated to study the text. So what motivates to study the text? Are these four factors. And therefore, in every properly written preface, these four factors should be clarified. Vishaya, what is the subject matter of the text? Prayojana, what is the purpose that is served by knowing what the text teaches you? Adhikari, for whom is this text written? And Sambandha, what do I have to do after studying the text? What do I have to do to achieve actually what I want? These four questions are there always in our mind. Before you don't just start reading a book just because it comes to you. People give you books, Yes, Swami also is among fruits and things, books also come to us, fortunately. People are very kind, sometimes 700-page book, So, Swami brought it for you, thank you very much. Oh, it will take me 7 years to read that book, But before you open it, you go always to the preface, but all you want to read that book. And we always want to know what is the subject matter of this. Does it interest me or not? It may be a wonderful book, very famous person has written, but whether or not the subject matter interests me or not. It's particle physics. Thank you. Some kind of, So there are some all the astronomy and stuff like that. Very technical books are there, very beautiful things. But it would not, after I'm not good for that time. That doesn't interest me. Other things to do. So subject matter is the first thing that should be clarified. Secondly, after studying the book, what do I get? What purpose will be served? Every practical person will want to know what purpose will be served by knowing all that. Suppose if I do not know about black hole, does it matter to me? So he just talks about black hole all that. So by knowing everything about black holes, and what does it do to me? Does it help me in becoming a happier person or a better Vedantic? What does it do to me as I am living my life? Does it contribute? No, then I am not interested. It may be a good book, well written by a very famous person, but then subject matter is, even if black hole interests me, something new, but still after knowing that if it doesn't do anything to me, meaning doesn't contribute to my happiness, contribute to my well-being, then prayojana, no purpose is served for me, then also I am not interested. I should not be interested really. Thirdly, for whom is it written? Sometimes books are written for only those who have finished PhD, and if I read books, all I can understand is only E's and Y's and etc. That's all, nothing you can understand. You go to all these these big universities and attend some classes of PhD, etc., and you can't understand anything. Or go to a class where they're teaching all this medical stuff, then nothing you can understand. When doctors are talking to each other also, I don't know what they're talking about. Meaning that it is meant for who is the student is qualified, to whom, what is the audience to which this book addresses. If I fall in that category, then only I can benefit from the book, not otherwise. So adhikari, who is a qualified student? Who is the audience, which is the audience that is addressed, kept in mind by this text? and sambandha. After knowing what this thing does, what do I need to do to achieve what I want? Ultimately, what is important is what I want. What do I need to do after studying and getting this knowledge? What do I need to do to achieve what I want? This is sambandha. These four questions are always in our mind. We may not be able to articulate all of this, but these four questions are always there in our mind. And before we begin anything, we always, even before coming to this retreat also, so what is this one going to teach? Katho, I will listen to 16 times. Same thing again. So subject matter is very interesting. Suppose I study Katho, what does it do? Oh, it gives enlightenment, gives the freedom. Oh, I'm interested. But this Swamiji, he talks to which kind of students? He talks all Sanskrit and all kinds of, technical. Then I am not familiar at all with Vedanta, and then I will be totally lost. So I am not the adhikari. I am not the fit student. Then also I can't come. So before we do anything, we always ask these questions in our mind, isn't it? So Shankaracharya explains that this very word Upanishad in a way points to all these four fellows, all the four factors. What is subject matter? Upanishad, self-knowledge is a Vishaya subject matter. What is the prayojanam? What purpose is served by gaining knowledge? Gati Brahma Gamayati. It makes me reach Brahman, makes me reach limitlessness, makes me reach freedom, gives me moksha. That's the prayojan. Yes, that's what I want. Who is the adhikari? It is meant for whom? So Swamiji, who is the fit person for knowledge? Who is fit for knowledge? Simple answer, one who wants knowledge. Simple qualification is, who is one qualified for knowledge? One who wants knowledge. Hopefully, or ideally, one who wants knowledge and nothing else, that's the ideal thing. But the extent to which we want the knowledge, to that extent we are qualified. If for us nothing other than the knowledge matters, then we are most qualified. Each one of us is qualified in one measure or other because we all want the knowledge. But Swamiji is still, that's all right, but that's not the only thing. We still have to live our life, and I still have to do my duties, and I have to go to work, and all these things I have to do. Meaning that I need other things also. Knowledge is one of the things, okay, I need other things. So knowledge is one of the things, usually, or often. We hope that as the time goes, this knowledge gains greater and greater importance for me. It is hoped that a day will come when this is the only important thing. When that happens, you will get knowledge right away. When this happens, all that matters to me, I just want nothing but knowledge. That's the time you will get the knowledge. So, hoping that by exposing ourselves to the teaching of Vedanta for a length of time, the value of the knowledge will keep on growing in our mind. Then I will discover greater and greater importance of what this knowledge to contribute in my life. What is important to me? That is important to me which has something to contribute in my life, contribute to my happiness, to my comfort, to my well-being. That which contributes is important to me. Because happiness is important to me, comfort is important to me. When I realize that this is the only thing that can really do and nothing else, as long as I think other things also can do, the internet also can do, and Facebook also can do, and WhatsApp also can do, and this also can do, and that also can do. So all of those things are placed in my life. The reason why so many things are placed in our life, about this is Swami, we are not sannyasa, we have other things to do. But that means what? Other things also we require to feel comfortable and happy. Then, but this doesn't do it adequately. But when we discover more and more contribution in this knowledge in our life, other things will become less and less important. If a time comes when this is all important, Vedanta describes what is mumuksha, mokshecha, moksha, may I have moksha, that's all right. So, the desire for moksha is compared to the desire of a person whose matted log is on fire. And this fellow is running for his life. Running for what? Running for a pool of water. When can he plunge into the water so that he can become free from this heat? When he's running there, you say, hey, would you like to have an ice cream? You want a chocolate? Nothing he wants. Does he want? Nothing he wants, Only thing he wants is when a guy plunge into this. Or as Ramakrishna Paramahamsa said once, when one bhakta asked him, I want to see God, what do I do? When will I see God? No answer is given at that time. But one day Ramakrishna Paramahamsa took the occasion to take that person also for a dip in the Ganges. The Ganges is right there, Dakshineshwar, because Calcutta is on the bank of the Ganges. So both of them took a dip. And here Ramakrishna, what he did is, he held that fellow's head in water and did not allow him to come out of the water. And that fellow was suffocating. He struggled hard and he came out after a lot of struggle. And he is upset, what are you doing? Were you to kill me or what? He says, when you were thus in water, what were you thinking? What do you mean, I just want to get out of this. That's all. So when your desire for Ishvara or Bhagavan also becomes like that, that's when you can see. And these are the examples that they give us so that we should know what kind of preparation is needed, that's all. Not to create complexes in us, but then to help us see in which direction we have to keep on progress. Otherwise it also becomes one of those routines, sometimes. It is nice to listen to classes, and I can't do without the classes because there is some kind of rasaswada, some kind of aswada, something we get, no doubt. But then you should not get into something, like other things. So ultimately, who is the most qualified student is one who wants nothing but knowledge. So this is knowledge. So who is the qualified one? One who wants the knowledge. What's the reason? What's the outcome? Moksha. Who is qualified? One who wants moksha. What Swami used to say, this fellow wants moksha as well as helicopter. Helicopter stands for all worldly things. In short, he wants. So that he doesn't want to give up. This I want to retain, plus I want moksha. So when Swami used to tell us that, again, when devotee asked a saint that I want to see God, okay, come to me in the evening and at 9 o'clock, and that saint, he just started chanting name and of Bhagavan, and there were other people also, and such an atmosphere built up there. Also pious atmosphere and such great devotion was flowing in there. And this fellow found he was getting lost. He got suffocated. He left that place. So what happened to you? He said, I was getting lost. Oh, so you want to retain yourself and now have Bhagavan. So that I don't want to give up. Like this ant. There were two ants and their two friends. One ant got married and went to a sugar mill where there are heaps and heaps of sugar. The other ant got married and went to a salt field. This poor ant in the salt field was losing weight every day and every day. And this ant, her friend, in the sugar mill was growing by day and night. So this friend wrote to her and said, this is what's happening to me, I'm losing weight, I don't know what to do. Says, come here for 15 days, have a vacation with us. So the ant came and all heaps of sugar, started enjoying sugar. A week passed by, still not putting on any weight. What's the matter? And so this friend took his hand to a doctor. What's the matter with her? How come she is not putting on weight? So I open your mouth. The mouth was opened. And you know what was found? That ant coming from a salt field also retained in her mouth 1 grain of salt. That I would not give up. He says that is what is actually, prevents you from enjoying, benefiting from sugar. So that we want. That samsara we don't want to give up. This I cannot give up. That I cannot give up. My individuality I cannot give up. Meaning that we want to hold on to things that we think are very, very precious to us. Only when everything loses its preciousness. That's what Upanishad will show. When with total dispassion, Lord Asanga Shastrena Dhrena Chitva. Lord Krishna used the expression Asanga, the weapon of detachment. So that is when it becomes all consuming, then everything becomes effective. Or the extent to which these qualifications are less, to that extent, we get certainly benefited from this. So Anubandha Chatushtaya, these 4 factors, which bind a person to the text, or which motivate him or her to study, because study also presupposes a total dedication to that, applying oneself to that, putting one's mind and soul into that. That's how the word Upanishad is explained by Bhashyakara. In that explanation, all these 4 are also included. 4th was, what do I have to do? After gaining knowledge of Upanishad, what do I need to do to get moksha? Should I perform some ritual, some karma, something to get? Says no, knowledge is the direct means of moksha. Because it is the attainment of what is already attained. Moksha is not something to attain, it happens to be your nature. And therefore, it is not that you attain moksha which is unattained. Moksha is again a reality. What is moksha? So knowing it is attaining it. Meaning that knowledge itself is a means of achieving the end. All this clarity should be there. When we have this understanding, then when we listen to the text, then we have a proper disposition of mind. If you think that after listening also I have to do something, then, mind is one orientation. Let me finish what you have to say, then I have to do this other things in order to get that moksha. Says no, knowledge itself is a means of moksha. And Shravanam, listening to the text itself, is a means of knowledge. If this is my understanding, then I will have a certain value for this. Then I pay a certain kind of attention to this, which otherwise I may not. If my orientation is that after listening to this I have to do something, then this is not the most important thing. What I have to do afterwards becomes important. Says, no, this is the most important thing. So this Anubandha Chatushtaya is mainly sambandha, that the self-knowledge is the immediate means of freedom or moksha. Not that you do something after the knowledge. And the Shravanam, listening itself is a means of the knowledge. Then Shravanam becomes a very important thing for me. And that way it gets it right, the priority that it should have. So with that kind of introduction, we will take up the text from our next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam
पूर्णमदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः।